right, so we're gonna start prepping this front box for the wires that need to go into it. Here is what we're going to go ahead and prep this box for. This here's an 18 pin box mount. It's nice and weather tight. Got the plugs in there. So this is gonna be on the inside of the box, and all these leads are going to run up to the thermistor readers on the cell tap boards. In order to do that, we need to actually get into this front box, but I need to put some holes in here in order for these cell tap leads, thermistor leads, and 2 watts to actually get inside of our battery box here. So I've gone ahead and put both of those 7/8 holes on either side. And I just kind of wanted to give a preview of why we did that. So this is the puzzle pieced gutter box that we went ahead and sent out a pattern and had water jetted and sent to us. This is actually the patterns for the flange box mount connectors and their mounting holes. So this one's gonna hold our 2 watt receptacle, and this is gonna hold our cell tap receptacle, and this one's gonna hold the thermistor ones that I already have terminated. This is really nice, they interlock, or maybe we'll just leave them there. There is one more piece, obviously, that's gonna go right here. We just have to shave that one down because of all the 45-degree angles. And that's just kind of showing why I did those 2 holes. So inside of this housing, once they get past their receptacles, then they'll just kind of kick and go up into the box. So that's gonna keep everything weather tight, all of our important connections right here out of the weather. So. So pretty much all I'm doing to this box right now is giving it kind of a more uniform textured finish. We're gonna go ahead and undercoat this bad boy, make it look like it belongs underneath the underside of a car. Now there's just far too many imperfections and things like that. If we paint over those, that's all gonna show. So it's just a little bit of preparation. This is gonna be real nice though. Well, my hand is officially numb and tingly from this orbital sander. There's a couple of spots that I can't really get to, a couple of edges that turned out pretty good. I mean, that grinder spins up pretty fast, and all in all, that's a good uniform kind of textured. These wavy parts, they just kept eating up my orbital sand paper. It'd be caught in these edges and then all of a sudden it'd be gone. I gave them enough of a scratch surface in order for the undercoating to stick. Today we're going to be welding the boxes for the wire connectors on the bottom of the front box. So I'm going to go ahead and thread these holes for him before he does all this welding. I got my drill, my thread taps, my cutting oil, and just kind of a final product of what we're going to be welding together, these bad boys. Again, that's just so it's a watertight pass through into the front box from the underside of the car. I just wanted to take a minute to kind of explain why I just spent some time threading these plates. So when this box is all welded together, it's going to be on the underside of the front box. We're not going to be able to access the inside of this. There basically is going to be a plate against that and a plate against this surface. So when I thread this, it prevents me from needing to get any access to the back of this in order to thread these housings into these plates. So this is all going to be serviceable and accessible from this face right here. This is our weather tight connections. One of them is for the big old 2 watt cable, which can be removed. We have our cell taps and we have our thermistors. So each of these will just disconnect. Now our cell taps are disconnected, or sorry, our thermistors are disconnected. This one is our cell taps disconnected. It's gonna disconnect our 2 watt. So when we disconnect the 3 on one side and the 3 on the other side, that box can be lifted out for service, for battery replacement. This is the final welding of this front box and the assembly that we've been throwing on it. I'm kind of giddy right now because I've been pointing to this idea on a digital screen, telling these guys what's gonna happen, and they've, it's like, okay guy, let's just make it happen. And now it's physically happening, and Evan's done a really good job welding these bulkhead gutters, and I'm excited. So I have a couple of hose clamp mounts and wire clamp mounts that are gonna help tuck these guys in the corner, keep them running straight up to this connection. And like I pointed out again, those are my threaded adapter holes with the throughputs, with the keyed one for the 2 watt. That was fun to do. And again, this thing has been welded. We've got our grommeted holes that are in there. Again, super excited this is coming together, and let's get going, man. This is awesome. right, as you can see, up and above me is that front box. We've got it put back in there. We've got our boxes welded in there. Evan did a nice job tacking those in for us. I have our looms marked, showing where our loom can end and where I need to pin these connectors. So I've gone ahead and silver sharpied on my black loom and black sharpied on my orange loom. I know where I can cut. I need to do some nice labeling for all of our thermistors and cell taps. I've got all my tools of the trade here. These are the connectors that we are going to be pinning out. These are going to be what's on the outside of the box, what we twist and lock onto those nice things. And this is a can-in for the 2-aught. That thing's going to lock into place. Pretty rad. I'm gonna go ahead and set this down and just kind of work on through this. Let's go. Really quickly, I just wanted to kind of point out the kind of tools that we're using. I mean, this thing is a precision crimper for these Deutsch style pins that are going on these tiny 24 gauge wires for the thermistors and cell taps. So I just Deutsch pins that love gold.
I love gold!
It's the best connection you can get. Just wanted to point that out. That way they could do a gold member cutaway, you know. I love gold!
The look of it, the taste of it, the smell of it.
So I've got these guys pinned out with all my gold male pins. I have the labels chilling up there. So now I gotta look at my nerd graph here and my pinouts. This is actually for the cell taps. It helps to have the color differentiation between my 1 to 12, 13 to 24, and 25 to 32. Sorry, 36, whoops. And all my grounds. So that's both sides of those cell tap connectors. I only have, because there's 18 pins, thermistor connectors here. But I have my pin identification and which thermistor goes into. So that's just so we make sure that these are accurate, because we definitely don't want the wrong cell voltage being read, and we definitely don't want the wrong thermistor identifying temperatures on the wrong battery. Right on. So this is our, again, tiny pin. I have my sheet telling me that this last ground for these thermistors goes into slot N. I just want to kind of show the quality of this kind of pin insertion tool and just kind of cool stuff that gets sent to us in order to put these high value and high function pins in here. This is open on one end, so I can slide the wire inside of here. It's just the right diameter to push on the base of that pin. That way I'm not pushing on the wire itself, causing any kind of overbending or stress on that while it's being inserted. That could cause breaks in the future or anything like that. So make sure we use the tools that are sent to us. I'll go ahead and just place that guy in there, put it around the collar, put it around there, and it pushes it right past this kind of hard rubber sealing gasket that we have. It goes all the way in, feel it hit the base, and see that it's all in the same length of that pin. All three of them are in about the same way. Pull that pin out and just give them a couple quick little, make sure none of them are coming out. So I gotta do that for all 36 of these thermistors and 79 cell tap leads. So this is gonna be a little bit more delicate of a process. There's so many dang leads on this one. All of these labels I just wanna slide right off as soon as I kinda have it hanging straight down. So I'm gonna have to keep a zip tie on the end. I'm gonna have to pull out individual wires and crimp, or strip, crimp, and pin into that terminator. Long, laborious process, but gotta be precise about it. That way you don't have any troubles in the future. All right, I am done following my freaking nerd chart and nerd drawings over here. Hey! Look at that, nice and color coordinated.
It's a lot of wire.
Dude, these crimpers and these tools, these things are tight. That's obviously a nice rubber gasket. It's gonna be nice and weather tight, but we're gonna take that even a step further. I got this heat shrink already prepped. We're gonna go ahead and heat shrink around this thread and make that, as it swings, look like that.
Heck yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, and then those guys, as I've said before, are just gonna plug in right there. What do you think, Mick?
I love it, man. Anytime we can use Canon plugs around here, it's just so baller, and it just keeps everything nice and tidy. The nice thing is they're weather tight, and you know, if this thing does see any elements, which it's highly unlikely that it will up there, but you never know.
Ah, crap, I gotta do that all over again
Just
on the other
when
side.
You think you're done.
All right, look at that. Look at that.
I mean, just look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, just get a look at that.
Now all we got to do is terminate and mount that thing, and then we'll have a quick disconnect location. All right, we are prepping to finally take these boxes out, hopefully for the last time, before they're actually loaded with all the batteries, all the cell taps, all the thermistors, all the straps, all the coolant, and thrown in here for the final time. It's gonna be quite a process. I'm gonna ask Quinn to take it out with me again because he's been so kind and helpful. He's got them long arms, so taking that front box is something I enjoy asking him to do. And then we're gonna go ahead and drop out this rear box. I have a few more crimps to do in that bad boy. All right, so time to go over just some of the things that I pulled this box back out of the front for. I have some M6 bolts from some hose and cable clamps. I need to grind those down so that they're not poking into the bottom of the batteries. And then also our coolant manifolds. Again, those are just gonna spit out some peak coolant to all these batteries in the front box. This is the send. We'll have a receive on the other end. And then we have smaller 2 inlet and outlet flutes going down there. I'm gonna be putting a kind of a texturized undercoating on the bottom of this, so it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect, but a lot of the big bead welds around the outside corners of this are gone. I'm just trying to take away a little bit more of the scratches left after the grinder, just kind of those almost saw cut pattern. I think Evan was kind of mad at me in these corners. It's a little bit tight in there, and I think he had to build up quite a bit of weld to make sure that it was sealed. So I got to get in there with some sort of specialty kind of conical grinder, get that ground away so that I can actually get the 2-aught cannon mount on there. So there's a little bit more work to be done here, but at least the outside corners look pretty damn sweet now. So. All right, so the front box is just wrapping up. It's drying off after getting painted. I think it turned out pretty good. It's pretty uniform. Can't really see any imperfections of the scratches or anything like that. And this is out in the bright sunlight where everything's gonna be highlighted. This is gonna be in the engine bay. So now that we have it painted, we can actually run our cables through here and get ready for the final termination before it's connected to the battery in the box inside of there. And I can go ahead and feed these guys down through here, and then I can bolt these guys on. I have my 632 bolts, some Loctite, and I'm gonna install these bad boys.
So the wire goes through here and only this is gonna be showing outside.
Yes, sir.
Got you.
And then we got a few more crimps on the other end of these wires that actually go to the cell tap boards pre-installed in the Tesla models. Freaking holes, and then through the grommet holes. So I'm gonna put a little fishing wire up there. I'll tape all of these wires to that, and then I'll be able to easily pull it on through. All right, so I got those harnesses mounted on this thing. It actually looks just as good as I thought it was going to. We have not done the big old cannon plug for the 2-aught just yet. I gotta get a second pair of hands on this so that we can manipulate that 2-aught cable in that corner. So I marked where these manifold bulkheads are gonna be coming through. This is gonna be able to thread from the inside, and then we got a bulkhead lock nut down here on the easy accessible side. So we have our manifold and fittings. These are gonna mate with some 90-degree kicks to our hoses. I need to do 2 more of those bad boys. One right here and one right here. And that's gonna handle everything past these 2. It's a 2-outlet manifold for these 2 batteries. 2 in and then 2 out. All right, so this is all 4 of our manifolds cut into the back of this box. I'm gonna flip this guy over and make sure we're not running into the welds. And then we'll go ahead and get some plumbers put in all these connections, and these tubes will be in for the final twist. And then we'll start prepping to actually put these batteries in, terminate them, and plumb some coolant lines to them. But now it's time to paint the rear box lid. We're gonna do bright red wrinkle coat VHT finish on this. It's gonna go on our black textured boxes. All right, so we painted our back box lid, and now it's time to paint the front box lid. This one has a lot more surface area. I gotta kind of take a higher level and just do a nice even coat, make sure that it doesn't show any kind of lines or anything. Do some different directions, and just take my time with this. Hopefully it turns out good. It's gonna turn out good. Well, we had fun today. We got these boxes painted. We have our nice textured black under here, and then we have our textured red on the lids. Now what we need to do is add the connections for the cell taps, thermistors, and 2-watt, and we need to actually load this battery box before it goes in. So come back next Sunday and check out that process. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
I exist in all dimensions, flesh bound. The stale money from the mattress, bought a fresh pound. Leather on the steering wheel, it got my palm chilly. Short necklace with the long willy, calm really, and it ain't even about